That's awesome. I love surrounding yourself with young energy, right? It keeps you young, keeps you on your
Yes.
toes, lets you learn all that slang. I assume that this was God, what is it? I assume that this was fire and you went all out, no cap or something like that, right?
No cap, no cap, man, no cap.
But for real, for real. So Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm talking to Michael C. Williams about Ghost Game, which comes to theaters on October 18th, 2024, and VOD on October 22nd, 2024. I'm going to talk to him right now, and while you're watching, if you could like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Also, a lot. Thank you. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Michael C. Williams talking about Ghost Game, which comes to theaters on October 18th, 2024, and VOD on October 22nd, 2024. It is a atmospheric, like indie horror film about this game that might go horribly wrong. It has a fun cast, an interesting setup, and some twists along the way. I'm excited to talk to you about this product. I'm excited to talk to you how you got involved in this. So thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, David. I'm excited that you're putting this out there. Thank you for that.
Of course, of course. So, quick question: how did you find this product? How did you get involved in this? Had you worked with the director before, or was this just something that like intrigued you because it sounded like a fun game?
It hadn't, and it did eventually intrigue me, and I read the script and loved it. But how it happened was I was doing this cameo in a film called Satanic Hispanics, which was the anthology series was one of the pieces was done by Eduardo Sanchez, who directed Blair Witch many moons ago. And he's like, "Hey, I got a cameo for you." I was like, "Awesome! I'll come down to Maryland. We'll shoot it." And I did, and I think I was only there for a day, and I met Carlo Glorioso, who's one of the producers on that. And he mentioned something about a script that he was working on with Jill Gevargizian, and Jill Six, as she's known. And so he was like, "I'd love you to read the script." I read the script, I really liked it. Then I had watched The Stylist, and I really liked that. I thought that was so cool and badass and young, and like was like, wow, I love the young energy in the horror genre and the community that it's building right now or has built. So I reached out to her and just had some ideas about what maybe I thought the character would be like, and she was just awesome to talk to, and then offered me the script, offered me to do it, and I was in. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of.
That's awesome. I love surrounding yourself with young energy, right? It keeps you young, keeps you on your
Yes.
toes, lets you learn all that slang. I assume that this was God, what is it? I assume that this was fire and you went all out, no cap or something like that, right?
No cap, man, no cap.
But for real, for real. So it sounds like you were always auditioning for Pete. What was it about this character that appealed to you other than like it was in the kind of like age range of what you would be
Yeah,
normally playing?
right. Perfect age. That helped. For me, it was the excitement for me was about, first of all, was the story. I thought the story was really intriguing about people, what I didn't know was called frogging in a house, and how just betraying and personal and awful that must be and feel like. And I thought we can identify with that as an audience. And then the relationship that Pete had to the story to me was intriguing because honestly, here's this guy who's just like, he's trying to do right by his family. He's going to start over. He's got a new house. It's old. It needs work, but he's got a novel in him, and he's going to finally make it and make money. And he's got a child with a stepchild with Meg, who they were both amazing to work with, and Vienna and Emily Bennett. And so for me, it was about like, there's this guy that is trying really hard and it doesn't go very well. Like things fall apart, and so does he. So it's about trying to figure out how to play this character in a real, authentic way rather than just being like, oh, he gets really mad. That's fun, which it is. It is fun, but what drew me to the character, it's not really like me, to get that, down that dark rabbit hole. Although we've all been there in life, I thought it was just going to be fun to play, and it was.
Yeah, I hear it's always more fun to play like for lack of a better word, a villain. I mean, Pete is kind of a villain in this. He's not like really. I mean, like you said, he just has a lot going on. He's trying to
Yeah,
like do right, but then things start to go wrong. But I hear it's always more fun to play someone not like you because then you just get to like kind of get out of your shell and try something new.
it is. It's a lot of fun to kind of go places that maybe you can't go in real life, and just try to find a way to authentically get there. That's the challenge. So hopefully people identify with that.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see. The this house you said it was in Maryland. Where in Maryland was it?
Great question, and I wish I knew the answer because for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the town, but somewhere in Central Maryland. Man, I can't. Somebody just had asked me that, and I'm sorry that I don't recall. It's probably somewhere like Bethesda E, Gaithersburg, but the actual name of the town escapes me. And the house was amazing. Like as soon as I rolled up on it, like 9 in the morning, like just getting to my first day of set, I was like, oh yeah, this is immediate, like you're creeped out. It's just got its own presence. And I think Justin Brooks shoots it so well and gets the energy of that house. That house definitely had energy to it, even at 9 in the morning. And then we started shooting overnights in that house. And you can like find your way into a corner or a stairwell or somewhere in that house where nobody is, and it was spooky.
Yeah,
Easy to see.
that house definitely looked haunted. Like you said, it just kind of has its own
Yeah.
mystique about it, which was
Yeah.
nice. I was wondering like what all did you have to do to it? It sounds like maybe not much. I'm sure there was obviously some work done to make it more creepy, but it sounds like the house kind of had its own special
Yeah.
charm.
Definitely had its own special charm, and they added some charm, some movie charm to it. And I think they did a really great job, set dressing that place. And it was really cool to see them get some webs in there. And they didn't need much dust or chipping paint, but they did a great job with what they did for sure.
And hopefully the rats were all props. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's indie filmmaking, right? Like
That's
just use what you got.
just found them in the gutter and said,
So I was one thing I was curious about, like, the way that this film is set up, it's kind of like two distinct parties essentially that are doing things. Did you get to spend a lot of time with the like, Ghost Game cast, or were your shots all kind of like filmed separately or on separate days because you didn't really interact with them as much?
Yeah, so like they'd be finishing and we'd be starting. So other than meeting them and talking to them a little bit, besides Zaen, who I had direct scene with towards the end, I really spent most of my time with Emily Bennett and with Vienna Maas and just working with those two majority of the time. We were on set majority of the time, and it worked out really well, right? Because Emily and I decided right up front, like we're in our own movie. Like we're a couple who bought a house and we're hoping it goes really well. And boy, it needs a lot of work. And where is this caretaker? That's our story. We have no idea what this outer story is. So I have to be honest with you, David. I read the script. I really liked it. I love the idea. And then I'd never read it again. I only read the middle of the story where we are because I don't want to know, right? As it's
Yeah.
almost like when I did Blair Witch, like I knew they were out there shaking our tents, but I didn't want to know that they were out there. Like I purposely was trying to believe in those circumstances because if you believe, then the audience will believe. So it was super fun in that way. And it's not like we iced each other out. Like if we saw each other on set, we'd be hanging with each other. But it was cool to kind of purposely go like, we don't really need to know what their story is.
Yeah, for sure. Just a family man is what I'm getting from you. You just wanted to be with
Just
your
a family.
family in your creepy house and see the horrible things happening. One thing I'm curious about was anything spooky happen like that wasn't planned or wasn't part of the movie, while you were filming there?
I have to be honest, not while I was there, nothing spooky really happened. Although I understand that spooky things were happening when they first arrived there, and I do believe that if I were alone in that house, I would guarantee you spooky things would be happening, because it did have an energy, and I surrounded myself with people throughout the time in being in that house. There were times where I purposely would go away up like a staircase or around a corner where there nobody was, and I got like you can get like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up because of the energy of that house for sure.
Yeah, I don't have those anymore, but I understand the idea. So I know we have a limited time, so I'm gonna switch to I call it the lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about
I
the
love it.
film.
That's cool, man. It's fun.
You feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them answerable. First
Cool.
question: have you ever been in a haunted house, or
I have
maybe this
not
one?
been in I've not been in a haunted house that I know of, but I'm sure I've been in a haunted house. Thankfully, it's not my own.
Excellent. That is a very good answer. Next question. This film involved, cameras being set up. Do you have cameras in or around your own house?
I cannot tell a public audience whether or not I have cameras in or around my own house.
That is the smart move because the next question was like, which angles are they pointing
Where
at?
are
Where are
they?
the
Yes,
blind
where? How
spots?
do I break into your house?
Next question. Have you ever had like a ghost game like incident happen, like something move unexpectedly, or something ch like some device changed, or did something like the pranks in this movie?
Not similar to this movie, but there was one time that I was in the woods. In fact, I was fishing, which is odd, but I was because I do that. That's my solace. And I was on a little tiny John boat, and there was definitely something rustling in the trees that wasn't any kind of animal, wind. It was isolated to the tops of some like a one tiny patch out of a giant patch of woods. There was no movement that came with it. It was super isolated, super creepy. Talk about the hair standing up on the back of my hands. I believe in ghosts. I also believe in aliens. I'm telling you, something happened in those trees that I wasn't supposed to witness, and I will forever wonder what the heck that was. So that's as close as I can come for you.
Better to wonder than to find out and then actually find out, right? Like that's
Fair.
that could have
That's
been very
fair.
bad. Um, this movie also, like the Ghost Game participants had some really cool masks on. What would your Ghost Game mask look like if you were playing?
What would my ghost game mask look like? I'd probably do like a dead president.
That's a good one. And
I
in
always
Maryland,
find them so creepy. Yeah, there's so much history in Maryland.
yeah, there's probably a dead president that died in Maryland. I'm pretty sure. I should probably know that, but I went to public school, so. Um, and the last question, you talked about Froggy. How long do you think that you could, live in a house without getting caught?
Undetected.
Yep.
Depends on the size of the house. And I guess I'm pretty stealthy, but once in a while you gotta go to the bathroom. Like, what are you supposed to do then? Like to see them do that. You gotta flush a toilet. Like, can't just leave it there if you want to go undetected, right? That's gross to think about, but
Yeah, yeah, and the smell too. Yeah, those
yeah,
were the issues that they didn't really confront in this movie. So
that's
I'm glad that
yes.
you pointed them out. So the film is coming to theaters on October 18th, 2024, and the VOD on October 22nd, 2024. You're out promoting, getting the word out. But after people see you in Ghost Game, are there any other projects on the horizon they can look forward to? Any projects coming from your role in Ghost Games? Just kind of like keep paying it forward.
Right now, I'm gonna stick with we're getting Ghost Game name out there, and nothing super close that's gonna have an announcement right now. So thank you for asking, but I would love people to go support Tiny Horror Independent Film. It's an amazing community of people, and I'm pretty close to that community over the years. I've been very fortunate to be a part of that community. So like we'd love your support, and thank you for having me on your show, David.
All right, well, there you go. So make sure to check out Ghost Game. Like I said, it's coming to theaters in October 18th, 2024, just in time for Halloween. This is Michael C. Williams, the star of the film. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Michael C. Williams talking about Ghost Game, which comes to theaters on October 18th, 2024, and VOD on October 22nd, 2024. It's an indie horror film about a prank game that goes horribly wrong. It has a fun cast, an interesting situation, and some twists and turns along the way. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.